What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and about to start a long list of late night reviews. So if I yawn, it's late. It is way too late right now. But Criminal Minds, Season 11, Episode 13, The Bond. James Bond. No, not James Bond. Anyway, not one of my favorites, but still intriguing. The previews from last week actually gave away kind of what was going on in this one. Because it said, mother knows best, so I figured it was going to be like the son killing for the mother, which is exactly what it was. So I was a little disappointed there. And I was also disappointed with the conclusion of the episode. Not how it ended, because I'm going to get to that in a second. That was really crazy and well done. But when I had to watch it online because couldn't watch it on the TV. And I'm looking like they're figuring out who the guy is, who the main guy is, and his mother, and what's going on. They're figuring it all out. And I pulled up the bar to show how much was left. I'm like, there's still 15 minutes left in this episode. Like, there's still 2 segments left to go. Like, what else can you do? And that's my main problem with this, is that they left so much time at the end for some stuff was good, but other stuff just, you could have devoted that time to maybe, doing something with the team this episode. Like, one of my biggest problems with last season was that they were not focusing on the team enough. Like, there are so many episodes like this one where it opens with the killer, whoever it is, doing their thing, and then it goes to the team talking about the case, and then it ends with nothing else, just talking about the case. I don't like that. Like, as intriguing as the show is, as far as the serial killer stuff and all of that, I do enjoy that. But the reason that I keep watching after 11 seasons is because the team is great. I mean, it's the same thing for NCIS. The cases themselves, some of them have been really good. But then there have been a majority of them that have just been good. But I watch because I love the team. Same thing, it's Criminal Minds. You've got Hotch, you've got Reed, you've got Morgan, you've got Garcia, you've got JJ still. And, Tara's an interesting character enough. You got Rossi. So I watch because, I continue to watch because of the team. I've seen pretty much most of the stuff. Like, when I first started watching, I could still remember that shock and awe of like, oh my god, this guy is keeping heads in his fridge, or oh my gosh, this guy is eating the liver of his victims, or this guy is like, he's posing bodies as his own little puppet show or something. Anyway, so I feel like I've seen pretty much the worst of the worst. Like the craziest of the craziest. Although there have been a couple this season that have just kind of thrown me for a loop. Like really, really crazy. And imagining going through that is just like, no, I couldn't do that. So, anyways, my point is that if you're going to keep people interested in your show, you either have to do something really interesting with a case. So, like, make a case drag on for more than just one episode. Maybe have, the assassins really captured my attention this season. And the episode where it concluded, a lot happened with Spencer, and, we learned a lot more about him. That's the stuff that keeps me watching. Episodes like this where, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's really out there and insane. And to think that something like this could actually happen, which it probably has, But to think that stuff like this exists in our world is pretty crazy. But that's not why I watch the show anymore. Like, I've already, I've seen that. I want something different. And I understand that's weird to say about this show, but you can still have that stuff while still showing more, new stuff that's keeping me interested. More stuff with the team, more stuff going on in the background with maybe some serial killer working in the background. They're finding these cases that are somehow connected, but there's no clues to go with them or something. Something to keep me interested. Because, the last 15 minutes are literally just, they go visit the mother at the asylum, they're talking to her, Tara finally gets through to her to find out, why she's doing this, and then it's the son taking his fiance out to the barn, and then they capture the son. And then they have one final scene in the asylum where they're talking about, like the team is getting on the plane talking about it, and then it goes to the asylum. And I'm going to talk about that because that was really, really well done. Because, like I said, the rest of the episode I felt just wasn't interesting enough to keep me, like focused on it. But in the end, it really stuck with me. So, it sounds like a really disjointed review, but the truth is, like, because it's Criminal Minds, I can still get into it. It's just if it's an episode like this, for the majority of the episode, I'm not focused. I'm like, I don't know, like I can't stay focused if it's so, I've seen stuff like this all the time. I've seen it before on this show. So that's why I'm saying, show new interesting stuff around your usual material, which will be fine. But anyway, the final scene, it's showing like, it was really well done as far as editing because it shows the mother like playing solitaire, and she looks up and smiles, and the son's playing Connect Four, and he looks up and smiles, and I was like, they're not in the same room. They're pretending like they're in the same room, but they're not. And sure enough, like the doctor takes the pills to separate rooms, and then I was like, where are they going with this? Like, cause they have like this creepy, eerie little song playing in the background with like, I don't even know what the instrument is. It sounds like a xylophone type thing. But they have this eerie song playing, and the mother gets up and like looks in the mirror and then pulls her hair back and looks at where her ear got chopped off. And at first I was like, somebody's about to commit suicide, right? That's what's gonna happen, right? Like that's where you go. And then the son stands up and gets in front of the mirror. I'm like, he's about to pull back his hair and show that his ear got chopped off by the mom, right? And then all of a sudden a doctor walks by the door and like, so we call him. I'm like, he did commit suicide. And then it goes and shows him, and his ear's gone, it's bleeding. And I'm just like, oh. And then it pans down, and he's holding his ear in his freaking hand. Well played. Well freaking played. I gotta admit, like, the rest of the episode was kind of an episode for me, but that ending was well done. The way they edited it. First of all, just showing like kind of the parallel, showing one sitting in her room by herself doing her usual stuff, showing the other now sitting in his new room doing the stuff that he would normally do when he came to visit, and then just showing, she stands up in the mirror, he stands up in the mirror, and just seeing the connection, seeing the back and forth. It was a spark of brilliance in an episode that was otherwise just dull and bland. And it was good. Like that ending really stuck with me. And maybe I'm alone on this. Maybe I'm the only one that looked at that and was just like, that's brilliant. Maybe everybody else was just like, I saw that coming. But the way they did it just was really, really good. And it's funny for me to say because most of the time I focus on the stuff that's bad. But in this one, there was really nothing bad. It was just not as good. Like you think the one from 2 weeks ago was just absolutely the best episode in a long time on Criminal Minds. I mean, throughout the entirety of the 10th season, except for the one episode, Mr. Scratch, which I still want them to bring that up somehow, talk about it, please. Anyway, but like, that episode was a standout episode in that season. That episode, the Spencer episode for this season was that. And it was better than the Mr. Scratch episode. It was just brilliant. The way they did it all. The only thing I was disappointed in is that the assassin storyline is now done. That was the only problem I had, is that they ended a story I thought they could have taken a little bit farther too early. So I guess that's my problem, is that we had that amazing episode. After several episodes that were good but not great, there were a couple that really were good as far as Criminal Minds goes, like the shock and awe of this person's crazy and what they're doing is crazy. I think I talked about the one where he kept them alive and they started hallucinating about escaping. That's a special kind of torture right there. That is crazy mental torture, and something that they really haven't. Mental torture is not exactly one that I've seen before on the show. So they've had a couple good episodes, and then they had a great one, and now the past 2 weeks have just kind of been okay. I barely even remember last week's, and this week I'll probably remember that last scene, but the rest of it really won't stick with me. I'll just remember it as, oh yeah, son killed for his mom. Why again? I don't remember. It was so long ago. It was only a day ago. Oh yeah, my bad. But anyway, I don't know. There's not much else to say about this episode other than dull, really good ending, really shocking twist at the end, but unfortunately I don't think that's enough to save the whole episode. I think it's just going to be a moment that I remember for a little while. But anyway, maybe that's my opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments below. This video may not get... This is right now past midnight, so it's Friday morning. I may not upload this until later today. Depends on when I have time. But I got a few more reviews to do right now, and I'm about to go to bed. So whenever you see this, leave a like. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace out.